Yo, season 2 is back of Love, Sex, and Marriage, and I can't wait to discuss this episode. Let's talk about it, y'all. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is Love, Sex, and Marriage Season 2, Episode 1. I am so happy that this show is back. I've been an instant fan. I've reviewed Season 1 on my channel, and I'm honored to do this again. And also, definitely support them because they are, they're also on tour, with the stage play. I'm going to be seeing them when they come to Silver Springs. I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to it. And I'm a huge fan of Trey Floyd and this amazing cast. I mean, I think all of them are doing phenomenal. They're doing phenomenal work, and I'm proud of all of them. And I'm so happy that Love, Sex, and Marriage is back because I am a huge fan on this show because we saw the finale of Season 1 had us all gagged. Literally. So, literally, it somewhat picks up where it left off. We see in the beginning of the episode, there's a wedding that's going on between Ken and Darren. And then when they ask, when the minister asked Ken, do you take Darren to be your lawfully wedded husband for as long as you both shall live? And then all of a sudden it pans over and it's Jeremy standing there. And he's like, well, do you? He's like, Jeremy, what are you doing here? He's like, you know how much I love you, baby. And then he's like, and then all of a sudden we come to realize he's kind of having this dream, and he's just in his sleep like, I love Darren, I love Darren, I love Darren. I'm like, oh my God. Like, because we saw at the finale that Ken was up in bed getting the D from Jeremy. And it all spun off the fact that he believed that Darren and Andre had did something, but we come to find out nothing did happen. But yet, when Ken found out about this, he not only went off on Andre, but didn't want to hear anything Darren had to say. And then the next thing you know, we saw at the end, he up in bed with Jeremy, Darren's best friend. So we already know this is not going to go down well once this gets out. And we're definitely see that Ken is definitely being tormented by the fact that this happened. So he kind of wakes him up and like Darren's like, what's going on, baby? You having a dream or a nightmare or something? And he was like, look, I want to tell you something. But he was like, you know what? And it's like he wants to confess to Darren, but Darren was like, you know what? We can talk about that. It's okay, but I actually got a surprise, so I'm gonna need you to get dressed. And he was like, well, I don't know, because they both in bed naked with each other. He's like, I don't know about that. I kind of like you in your birthday suit. So yeah, and it's Ken's birthday, so hey, I was just immediately, Jeremiah came in my mind like, birthday sex. I'm like, I ain't mad at it. So they about to get it in. The next thing you know, the crew showed up. And that crazy ass Ashley, Ashley's like, oh, hell yeah. She jumped into the damn bed because she tried to see Darren naked. I was gagged. I'm like, this girl is off the chain. I miss my girl Ashley because Ashley is definitely one of the funniest girls on the show, so I'm glad that she's now a main cast character. So I was so happy about that. So pretty much, they're all there to wish him happy birthday. They got a day planned, for Ken. Things are going well for the crew, because they all met in college. Ken is doing well at his consulting firm. Terrell is opening new gyms, and I'm like, yeah, they need to bring back Black Panther because Terrell, whew. But Terrell's off doing his thing. Vontae has his restaurant, and he was like, Vontae was like, and why are we hanging out with Andre again? And Andre's like, because y'all would be a bunch of old hags if I wasn't around. I'm like, you better give it to him, Andre. But then we see that Andre and Ken have a conversation, and he says that, I really apologize for not listening to you when you was telling me about Darren. And then he's saying that, it is what it is, bestie, it's all good. But he was like, but yeah, but because of that, I did some dumb shit. And Andre was like, well, what did you do? And he was like, nothing. And I'm like, because I'm like, it's funny how the tables have turned now, because here it was last season, everybody was going in on Andre, thinking that Andre had slept with Darren. What do you think is going to be aftermath when everyone finds out that Ken slept with Jeremy? It's going to be crazy. But then, Andre was like, well, it couldn't have been that bad. And he's like, first of all, you my best friend. I wouldn't even do that to you. I mean, it couldn't be that bad. It's not like you slept with Rick or something. And then we kind of see him like, ooh, like, I'm already like, this is going to be a crazy ass season. And I am here for the ride, y'all. But I'm like, yeah, it ain't Rick, but it's definitely one of Darren's friends. And I'm like, but it just kind of makes me question Ken. Like, Ken, why would you even think your best friend would do that to you? Yeah, Andre was kind of wilding out in these streets doing shit like that, but he would have never went after your boyfriend. And I was thinking, like, not only that you didn't have faith in your best friend, you didn't even have faith in the man that you're sharing your life with. So it's just really kind of up in the air, like, wow, Ken, like, you really just lost all direction and did the unthinkable, and now it's eating away at you. And it's unfortunate, because I like Ken, but it seemed to me that Ken literally made a mistake that he can't take back. And it's unfortunate. So we see that they go out, they have fun, they go shopping and stuff, and then they have drinks. And, Ken discussed that he wants to expand his business. And Ashley talks about she wants to settle down and get her a boyfriend. But she says that, I don't be getting no off days. And then Vontae's like, well, you don't do no work when you're there anyway. And he was like, she was like, well, excuse me, but have you ever been robbed? Have your registers come up short? Have you had any lawsuits? And he was like, well, no. And he's like, exactly. And it's because I work there. I do everything. I'm not only the hostess, but I'm also your damn security. So pretty much she says, you need to stop tripping off me, and you need to go find Dion's ass. So of course Ken's like, so what's going on between you and Dion? And he was like, it's been a while. So we already know that him and Dion, that's done. And I'm not surprised. Because it wasn't the fact that Dion was messing around, because after all, they weren't exclusive. But the fact you did it with one of his close friends, that's kind of like the kiss of death. So I get where Vontae is with that. That makes sense. But he says that, he's turning a new leaf, and and she was, and then like that damn Ashley was like, turning up what, the heat? like cause you ain't got shit popping. I was rolling like I love me some Ashley. And then we also find out that Andre is now working at Vontae's restaurant, with Ashley. So this is good to see that Andre is now trying to make better decisions. He's got a legit job now, and he's no longer dancing and having sex for money, because he really was putting himself in some bad situations. And I was rooting for my boy, because Andre is a good person, but due to his insecurities and stuff, he was literally putting himself in danger. So I'm glad that Vontae got him a job at his restaurant, and he's now moving in a better direction. So I'm happy that my boy Andre is winning. So then we go to the house. We actually get introduced to Rick. Now, Rick is one of Darren's friends, and he's actually played by Trey Floyd himself. So it's great that Trey Floyd now has a character on the show. And for those who don't know, Trey Floyd is the creator and director of Love, Sex, and Marriage. So it's cool that he now has a role in his own show. I thought it was pretty cool, and he did a phenomenal job. I'm already liking Rick, and we see that Darren has called up Rick as well as Jeremy, and he wants them to help him set up for Ken's surprise party. And then, like, Jeremy's like, man, you always trying to make us, do some work and shit. He's like, yeah, like, when we were younger, he had that paper route. We did all the work and he kept all the money. He's like, we want them reparations and all that shit. And Darren was like, well, y'all ain't getting no reparations, but you both have put dents in my couch. So what you think is gonna happen when the next nigga kick you out? I was like, oh shit. But then, he says that, look, this party has to really be special. After that whole thing went down with Andre, things has just been crazy. And he was like, and then Rick was like, well, he forgave you, didn't he? And Darren was like, there was nothing to forgive. Nothing happened. And then Jeremy's like, really? And he was like, nothing happened. I'm like, Jeremy, you messy motherfucker. But I'm definitely going to get on Jeremy in a minute. But then, he was saying that, well, and then, like, Rick was like, well, hypothetically, what if Ken slept with one of your friends? And he was like, Jeremy was like, yeah, what would you do if that would have happened? And I'm like, Jeremy, he is going to fucking kill you when he finds out. So you may be feeling your shit right now, but Darren looked like he will definitely beat that ass. Because he even said that, yo, first of all, as far as my friends, it's the two of y'all, and if one of y'all was doing it, like, oh yeah, I would beat both y'all asses if you fuck with Ken. But then he's saying that, with all this shit going on, X popping up, and Ken's been acting really funny lately. And then we see Jeremy's fucking face, and I was like, man, if you could fucking throw a quarter at that nigga, it would bounce back, because that face was just cracked. And I'm like, like, shit's about to get real on season 2 of Love, Sex, and Marriage already. So then we get, there's a ring at the door, and, all of a sudden Rick opens the door, and he was like, yo, what is this little Oompa Loompa, Jiminy Cricket? Like, what the hell is this at your doorstep, bruh? And we meet a new character. His name is Cortez. He's Ken's cousin. And he's intellectual. And he's definitely a nerd. But he's very fucking condescending. And and his ass is a trip. I already like this character. And the thing is, he's a student at, I think, at Atlanta Central, and I think he's a pre-med political science major, and he says that Ken said that he could stay, and Darren was like, Ken said that? He was like, well, yeah. He's like, well, he ain't talked to me about it. Well, like, well, that's what he said. I'm like, and then he looks at Rick and was like, you look like you have gargantuan clout. Do you mind to help me move my bags? And he was like, and then Rick was like, what this nigga just say? You know what, mother? I was like, oh shit. Rick was about to beat his ass, but Darren stopped him. He was like, yo, I'll take care of your bags. You finish help setting up. And then all of a sudden, we see Jeremy come up like, yo, who Urkel? I was like, y'all wrong as shit. Like, he's just different. And he's very, sophisticated and intelligent, but he is like, he messy as shit. And I was living for Cortez, because they up there talking about him. And he says that, well, if you're gonna continue to and like, instead of you guys sitting around here trying to hypothesize about me, could you please help me with my things? I was like, the nerve, bitch. And he's like, you know what? Y'all finish setting up the party. I'll take care of his bags. And yes, so that shit was crazy. Then we get the actual party. We see Darren is there with his mom, and his mom is having a conversation. She's like, are you sure you ready for this, son? Are you really ready for this? And then we see that Ken's aunt Karen is there with her dog Spice, and they were even talking about like, what? Why did she bring that damn dog with her ass? Like, what the hell? And then they come in. Ken is hung over, and I'm like, it's kind of funny that all of them were drinking, but Ken is the one that's hung over. And I think it's because of the guilt. It's like it's eating away at him, and he's drinking to try to suppress it. So all of a sudden he comes in and he sees that Cortez is there. He's like, Cortez, what are you doing here? He's like, well, there are no rooms at the dorm right now, and I called you and you didn't pick up, so I called your mom and she said it was okay. And she's like, really? He's like, yeah, that's what she said. I'm like, oh, Cortez, you messy motherfucker. You knew damn well that he was probably trying to avoid your ass, so you called your aunt, and she said you could stay. And I'm like, look, I love your moms and all that. Moms are moms, but boo-boo, how you gonna tell him that he can stay at his place where he paying the rent in? Like, that shit was just crazy. Or she should have called Ken, and they all three could have discussed that, but she just told him he can go ahead and stay there. So Cortez just showed up, and it's like, oh hell, we gotta deal with his ass. And then we see that Ken talks to Darren like, yo, what the hell is you talking about what the hell is this with Cortez staying here? He says that, look, he said he talked to you and your mother or something, and then he was saying that his head hurts or whatever. And then the next thing you know, we see that Ken runs into Jeremy, and he's like, yo, what's up, Ken? You want me to cheer you up? And he's like, man, what are you doing here? He's like, now you know you my man's best friend. And I'm like, when he said that shit, I'm like, he is going to be messy as fuck about that whole situation. And I knew it with that answer. Like, you know you my man's best friend. So I'm like, bruh, shouldn't you say that you know that your man is my best friend? He said it in a different way, which I caught. And I was like, oh, Jeremy's shady as shit. And I already see that he's definitely going to be an issue. And I'm going to get to it. And pretty much Kim was like, yeah, don't remind me. I'm like, did you actually hear what he said, Kim? But Kim was just not trying to deal with Jeremy and his shit. So then we see that Ken talks to Rick, and it was cool seeing the two of them interact because, Trey and Raquel, who plays Ken, they're married in real life. And, congratulations to you guys. They just celebrated their 10th anniversary. Happy anniversary to the both of you. And so Ken and Rick talk, and Rick was like, yo, won't you introduce me to your friend? And he introduces him to Vontae, and we see that Rick and Vontae kind of hit it off. So it seemed to me that they may be an item for the season. So that's going to be interesting. So then afterwards, we see that Darren makes an announcement, and he pretty much says that, not only are we celebrating Ken's birthday, but I want to tell everyone that Ken means so much to me. He's been there for me, in some of the toughest times of my life. And, I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. So he pretty much gets on one knee. He pretty much gets down on his knees and he proposes. And Ken immediately gets sick to his stomach and runs to the bathroom and pretty much throws up or whatever. And we see that Vontae, Andre, and Cortez are there to help him. And, Vontae's like, you just messed up one of the best proposes ever, bitch. Like, seriously? And he was like, man, it's y'all fault. He's like, bitch, didn't nobody tell your ass to get drunk like that? You need to learn to hold your liquor. And then all of a sudden he was like, have y'all met my cousin Cortez? And then Andre was like, oh yeah, we all know about this troll. And then Cortez was like, whatever, peasant. And then Vontae was like, I like him already. I was rolling. I'm like, y'all wrong. Because Vontae's always coming for Andre. I mean, and then now you got another one that be coming for him too, because Cortez is real slick with his mouth, and I was just so here for it. So they pretty much there, and they pretty much kind of they pretty much are there to support Ken, but then they eventually leave, and then all of a sudden after they leave, Guess who walked into the damn bathroom with him? Jeremy's ass. And Jeremy is wearing all black. And I have to say, Trey, you were a genius with this shit, because obviously the fact that he's wearing all black somewhat symbolizes to me he's gonna be the dark cloud of the season. He's there to disrupt and dismantle this union, which is Darren and Ken. And pretty much, you know, he comes in there, was like, so you gonna marry my homeboy? And he's like, man, I ain't talking. And then Ken was like, man, I ain't dealing with this shit with you right now. He's like, man, what you mean not now? You got my boy on his knees and you ain't tell him yet? He's like, no, I'm not telling him, and neither are you. And he was like, first of all, it was a one-time thing, and it was the dumbest thing I ever done. He's like, yeah, you may be saying that, but you know, you can't pretend that it didn't happen. And he was like, first of all, you know, as I said, regardless of the fact, I'm not telling him, and neither are you. And he's like, yeah, I like you upset, but it is, whatever, it don't matter, you know, it ain't over yet. And he was like, yes, it is over, because it hasn't even started. He's like, oh yeah, we'll see about that shit. And I'm like, see, that damn Jeremy, I think, first of all, he definitely had an agenda as to why he slept with Ken. And I think it comes twofold. I think, first of all, he's obviously probably developed some feelings for Ken, which it's now starting to come out here and there a little bit, that he is starting to feel Ken in a way, and he hates the fact that he's with Darren. And then I'm also thinking that there's some inner resentment he has towards Darren, because why would you even sleep with your boy's best friend? That's the violation of God code. You don't never fuck with somebody that your dude is messing with. Out of all the niggas out there in the world, you gonna mess with your boy's man? Like, that's some real shady shit, and it's some sinister shit. And that's what I got from Jeremy, that Jeremy definitely has some inner issues with Darren, and he's also feeling some way with Ken, because I think he has kind of developed some type of attachment, or he's developed a liking to Ken, and he's trying to dismantle it. Because I'm gonna be real, with this whole situation going on, you know, Ken and Darren definitely aren't ready to be married, because for one, Darren was honest to him about what happened between him and Andre, but Ken has yet to reveal what's going on what happened between him and Jeremy on that night when he got the Man of the Year award. So after Jeremy leaves, he gets another knock, and he's like, what? But it's actually Darren. And Darren pretty much, and Ken was like, you know, I'm embarrassed. And he's like, but you know, as far as you proposing, are you ready? He's like, yeah, I'm ready. Are you? And he's like, I am, but it's something I gotta tell you. And I'm like, there's another chance he's trying to tell him what happened, but he's like, well, right now we got to get back out there, because your aunt's dog is starting to you know, send people off, you know. So, but we'll talk about it later. And I'm like, damn. And then we see that they go back into the party, and he pretty much tells Ken tells Darren that yes, he will marry him. And then we see that we definitely saw Jeremy sitting on the couch, and he mad as hell. So I'm like, this is going to be this is going to be an epic season, y'all, because a lot is going to go down. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be crazy. So I am so here for what's about to go down for season 2. But that's where it ended, that Ken accepted the proposal, but he still has this secret that's eating away at him. And then you got pretty much Jeremy, who's not going to let it go, and is going to use every opportunity to dangle it in Ken's face, because he wants Ken to break. So we're going to see how this is going to transpire, but I'm already seeing there's some detonators that are about to go off. But that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, I will have the link for Love, Sex, and Marriage in the description box, so you can actually go to that link, subscribe to their channel, and click that bell so you can get notifications every time a new episode of Love, Sex, and Marriage is released. Also, follow all of my social platforms in the description box as well. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of Love, Sex, and Marriage. I am so here for this show, y'all. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job. You guys are killing it out here. The play is selling out, and they are really making waves throughout the country with this play. And I'm so happy that season 2 is back, and yet they're doing big things with the stage play, and I can't wait to see it. So until next time, everybody, take care.